It was a little heartbreaking this year losing all of our beehives. Two of our hives were decimated from yellow jackets. Well, another day on the homestead. It's Thursday, and Margaret's off at the small farm conference in West Virginia, or for West Virginia. So I'm home alone, which is not a bad thing. Yesterday I collected about 40 gallons of sap. Probably some of the last sap we're going to get this year. We'll have to see. I haven't fired up the evaporator in quite a few days. We had a little bit of wind, so my buckets are kind of a mess at the moment. But that happens. But I'm going to put this back together, so to speak, and get some sap cooking. Do a little bit of cleaning. Try to stay warm. It's not even 30 degrees out. We won't be getting any sap runs today or tomorrow, I'm sure. I need to clean some of the old ash out of the evaporator here. Putting some bricks back in. And then that's just a little bit of my pre-boil and ice from the other day. It's fine and clean. I left that covered. Checking to make sure it's level and starting the fire up. I have to admit this fire is a little finicky to start. I've mentioned in a past video that I think that my draft is a problem simply because it's full of holes. But one of the things that I have learned is to make sure that I have some nice small wood to put in, not just to start the fire, but to keep it going. So I have to go through and split most of the wood, again, that we use in the house for heat, and I'll split that down into 2 to 3 inch pieces as opposed to 5 or 6 inch pieces. One of the best tools that I think I bought for our travels in our teardrop is my Gransford Brooks small forest axe. Not this one that I'm using here, but the previous little axe. I absolutely love that axe, and it was worth every penny spent on it. We'll put a link down below for you. I'm not using my splitting maul here simply because it's pretty heavy and I wasn't getting the nice result I wanted. This axe, although has a handle too long for the head, I put this together a couple of days ago, is much lighter and easier to wield. When the pieces get too small, of course I revert back to my Gransford Brooks. Just need to skim some of the foam out of here, and then I noticed the stack on my fire is a little crooked, so I'll fix that. Now I need to start a little project cleaning up some of this area and behind the shed. One of the things I need to do is make sure that I can move our plucker inside. Right now it's being covered just here on the left of the screen, but I'm going to put it inside the shed. But I have to also deal with some bee stuff and a lot of wood, and then I'm going to find a little home to put our siding, and I'm going to do that here to the left where those sawhorses are. It was a little heartbreaking this year losing all of our beehives. Two of our hives were decimated from yellow jackets. Another hive was weakened severely by the yellow jackets and then killed off the very first cold spell that we had. Only lasted a couple of days, but it was about 40 to 50 degrees, 60 degrees for a week before that, and then it was 10 degrees overnight. The last hive, which is not here in this stack, but the last hive died, also froze. Again, you know, we had some nice warm weather. The bees had some brood on them, and then we got 10-degree weather again, and unfortunately they won't move if there's brood, and they froze. So I'm just going through and, you know, reliving, you know, what happened with these hives here, but I definitely need to deal with them. Now it's just a matter of clearing out this space. There's quite a bit of plywood that we have left over from other projects that I'm going to use to make some shelves inside this shed or other shed. But I just need to get it out of the way and give myself some space for putting in the plucker. Of course, with all this stuff in a shed, you know, it collects dirt and debris. and I just need to clean it up, obviously, before putting the plucker in. I'm sure everybody's familiar with putting something in a place and then it's in the way, so you have to move it. And then, of course, after you move it, now it's in the way of something else, so you have to move it again. But it is the way it is. So here's our plucker. We got this in 2019. It's a Yardbird, and I will put a link to it in the description below. This OSB that I keep moving is the sheathing that we had removed from the house and replaced with zip system. Need a place to put the siding that we're taking off the house, and I'm trying to figure out if it will fit here and how best to keep it off the ground. My thought initially was to use these old sawhorses to put it on, but unfortunately there's quite a bit of difference in elevation right next to the shed and here at the edge, and I'm not really sure how to level them. And so I'm kind of going through the whole thought process of how to do that. So I've changed my mind. I'm not going to use the sawhorses. I have several 4x4 cutoffs from these posts. I'm going to put some logs that I can't split by hand down, and I'll just level it from there. You know, living on a hillside, this takes time, and you have to make some adjustments and kind of go with the flow. For those of you who do have flatter property than I do, sometimes I'm quite jealous, and this is one of those times. Remember I said I was solo? Margaret's on a conference. Well, that also means that when the sheep start making noise, that means I forgot to feed them this afternoon. So I just got to get grain for 3 pregnant Romanovs and give everybody else some hay. And that'll keep them happy. My shed's a mess. You didn't need to tell me. Yesterday I was working on this big project. So this is where there used to be a grape arbor in here. And you might be able to tell it's a little overgrown. It's got a lot of blackberries in here. So all these purple canes are blackberries. A couple of raspberries, not many. A lot of Japanese honeysuckle, which is what this mess is right in front of you. But we've had to pull all the high tension wire out of here that they used for trellising, and there's rebar in here that they also use for staking stuff up. And my ladies are waiting for me up the hill. Hi, sheepy weepies. I know, I'm late, aren't I? Yeah, I'm late. I should have been here already. Well, things happen. I'm just gonna set that down there for now. Hi, ladies. How's everybody doing? Hi. These are our 3 pregnant ewes. This is little Mish. You saw her from our first video. And we have Molly in the back, Sesame on the left, and Millet on the right. Yeah, stay right here. Okay, stay here. Let me just get your feed. Alright, well, Margaret does this different. She's more talented with keeping the sheep out before they're ready. So I just been doing it there. The ladies are very excited, but they don't get fed in the afternoon. Yeah, they don't get grain. As cute as they are, they just don't get any grain. Molly here is a beast. She'll just push right in. She's an old lady, but she's a good lady. Misha's nice and quiet. Sesame usually avoids me at all costs. Once they're done, then I'll let everybody else in here and they can clean up the little bit that I spilled. Molly is very, very good about cleaning up. So, he's pretty darn friendly, but I don't turn my back on him very often, because the moment you turn your back on the lamb, you regret it. Those two girls are they're Molly and Millet's lambs from this year. Sorry, I should say from last year. They're a year old. But Margaret wanted to put them in and get a nice cross if we can. They still have water, and they're eating away. Hi, Sesame. It's just starting to become mud season here in West Virginia. Although we've had freezing temperatures and warm days randomly, one of the things we want to do is to keep the houses dry, as well as some of the areas the sheep walk in and we walk in. So I've already put down dry bedding that we've repurposed on the inside of the White House, and now I'm just going to take some of this stuff that isn't quite perfect, but it's good enough, and I'm sprinkling it here in this kind of muddy area so that not only don't we slip and fall, but it doesn't just become a giant mess from the sheep walking back and forth. I'm going to go check the duck house just to make sure they have feed and there's nothing funky in there. Turn on the electric for the sheep. And I have to also make sure that the battery is charged, as well as it starts to click, which means it's energized. Time to go in. Who's first? I know, you guys like being out. Let's go in, you guys. Oops. Let's go, Mama. Putting the ducks away isn't a rushed process. We want to let them find their own way in, and once you get a couple of moving in the right direction, all of them will tend to follow along. Of course, there's always the exception. Looks like we had a nice boil.
part of the problem. Unless I stand here the entire time, I can't keep it on a nice boil.
Well, Margaret's due back in a few hours, so my time alone on the homestead is coming to an end. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you'd like to see some of our other videos, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can get notifications for new videos coming out. And you can always leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.